All right, it is that time. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We're going to check out the roster update for August 20th, the 4th of the year. We are also live streaming on twitch.tv/Spore. Every week that there's an update, we're right on Twitch as soon as the update comes out this week on a Thursday, which is pretty cool, especially because I'm going to be gone tomorrow. So it's like they did it for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. But anyway, let's dive into it. We're going to go position by position here, talk about who got upgraded, who got downgraded, who we're still investing in, and what's going on with everything here. Starting with Shane Bieber gets another upgrade. The dude just hasn't quit. I mean, you can see the numbers right there, a 1.05 ERA and a .67 whip. That's insane. I mean, that's truly insane with what he's been able to do this year. He's got a really good chance to go 90. And what you can do with that is we saw it with Judge and Betts. When these guys go into the 90 range, they get an artificial spike in their price that you can really cash in on. Now, Judge had the spike before he went, so you could have sold on the hype. Remember when he was tracking at like 30K because everyone knew he was going to go over 90, and then he dropped down? Weird that it was beforehand instead of after he got it. But then with Betts, he didn't have it until he reached the threshold, and then on that day, right at roster drop, he bounced up to like 40K. I bought one on spec that the night before, sold it for 40, got out, felt great. Now he's evened out at about 15K. That's the thing though too, even if you bought a bunch at 5K and you have to sell them at 15, obviously that's still a profit there. So even that wouldn't be the worst. Let me see what Bieber's price is tracking at right now to get an idea of what we could be looking at if everything continues on and he goes up above 90. Please wait, please wait, please wait. Yeah, I mean, he's at buy order, you can put in for around 67, 6,800, buy now for 8,800. So I wouldn't go crazy, but maybe just put a couple off to the side in the 68, 6,900 range. And then if he goes over, then you're good. I mean, you're putting a risk of a couple, not even a couple thousand, honestly, because worst case is something would happen where he like falls apart and you had to quick sell him at 5,000, but that's unlikely to happen. So you could probably sell him back. I mean, even if you flipped him right now and sold him for like 8,000, you'd still make some stubs. So it's kind of a no risk investment there with Bieber, with the chance to really hit big. Sonny Gray also continues his dominance right now. I think these two are two of the Cy Young front runners. They've both just been excellent. Aaron Nola goes diamond. That was very much expected. The market was very much on that pretty much all week after his last start. Same with Zach Greinke. He was really tracking there to go up. 184 ERA, .89 whip. The dude just keeps going. It's funny. He seems to drop like velo every year, and it doesn't matter because his secondary stuff is so good. His command is so good. He just continues to age brilliantly. Kenta Maeda was carrying a no-hitter deep into the game yesterday. Took it into the 9th and then lost it. He's been pitching excellently. He's now on a diamond track. There really is a diamond possibility here. If he continues to pitch like this, we could see diamond within the next couple of weeks here. So that's something that you might want to look at as an investment for Kenta Maeda. Keep a close eye on what he's doing. Now, one thing that I've talked about in my last video was specific to Max Fried, is some stamina upgrades for some of these guys. Maeda, Fried, and Montas jump out to me specifically. I don't know what's going on there with SDS, not really upgrading the staminas of these guys who are clearly going more than 5 innings. They used to be, kind of those just over 5 inning types, but now they're going 6 on the reg, sometimes deeper in their best games. I think it's time for some stamina upgrades for some of these guys, and that could certainly help as well. Darvish, also on a diamond track. We all know that his second half last year, when he didn't walk anybody, was something that we'd never seen from him before. He's always had talent. He's always been one of the nastiest pitchers out there. And one of the things about him was that he would have too many walks. He'd kind of get 0-2 on somebody and then throw 3 waste pitches. It was kind of frustrating to watch. As nasty as he was, you're like, dude, just attack. You don't have to keep trying to get them to swing over the top of some nasty breaking ball. Just attack them. You'll still get your strikeouts. He finally got on that memo last year. He hasn't walked hardly anybody since the second half of last year. Only 5 walks this year in 30 innings. So that's going to be a key to getting him up to diamond, because I think that 62 still has plenty of room to grow for Darvish, and he's been pitching brilliantly. If I'm looking at these 3 here, because Snell's also back on a diamond track. Remember, he's a previous diamond. If you're looking at these 3 and ranking them, I think I'm going to go Darvish, Snell, Maeda in terms of how I would rank investing in them for a potential diamond. I think Darvish has the best track right now, with Snell being a previous diamond and starting to get his innings built up, and then Maeda right there. Just because Maeda's third doesn't mean that I wouldn't invest in him. It's just that's just how I would rank the 3. Paddock goes down 1 point. You see it there. It's not a crazy downgrade. He just hasn't been pitching exceptionally well right now. His ERA is up to 4.26, but you see the whip still at 114. That's really good. He's not that far away from a strikeout per inning, so he had to go down. I understand it, but nothing to really freak out about. Hyun-Jin Ryu, remember, people were panicked over him when he had his first 2 starts. I'm sure some of the Jays fans were wondering what they bought here, but turns out they bought a stud off the free agent market. He's been pitching excellently lately. Gets another little boost. Max Fried goes gold. This was a big one that we were kind of keyed in on. He gets to gold. He could continue to move up. Diamond's a long way off at this point. I wouldn't necessarily reinvest for Diamond. I sold all mine off. I'll keep monitoring him, and if he continues to pitch really well, then I'll jump back in for Diamond. Merrill Kelly goes up to 79. He and another Diamondback pitcher have been pitching remarkably well. I did think that the other Diamondback pitcher would go gold, but he didn't. That pause was intentional. Kyle Hendricks goes up to 79. He's on the gold cusp. He's definitely a hold for gold, and so is Zach Gallen. I don't get this one, okay? I don't get this one. I got to talk to Rory and Luis over there at SDS, okay? This one doesn't make sense to me, because this isn't just out of nowhere that he just started pitching well this year. He pitched brilliantly last year. And, you know, I try not to do too much of the, well, if this guy got this, then this guy has to get this. Because you got to be careful with those comparisons, because you got to see, like, where the guys came from, what their history is, all that sort of stuff. But I do think this comparison is fair to say, if he got here, why isn't Gallen at gold? If Dylan Bundy can skip silver, coming all the way from low bronze, and be gold already, I don't understand why Zach Gallen isn't gold. Like that those two things don't add up. Dylan Bundy was bad last year, and Zach Gallen was amazing. And, you know, they put a lot of stock into what they're doing this year once the season starts, and I get that. But I do also think that the previous track record plays a role in how a player gets to his next level. And Gallen's only been good in the majors. So that is a little bit frustrating to me that Bundy is sitting there at an 80 already, and Gallen is sitting at 79. Now, he is a hold for gold. If his price goes down, I would double down. I'd reinvest. I'm still firmly in on him. You know, when we got murked last week and we didn't get anything from him, I thought, okay, well, they'll give him the 4 points this week. They've been showing 4-point upgrades, no big deal. They gave us 3 points. So it's a little bit frustrating. This is definitely my biggest frustration of the week. And yeah, part of it is because I'm heavily invested in him. Obviously, there's a little bit of self-serving behavior there, but also because I think he deserves it. I wouldn't just say that so-and-so deserves an upgrade just because I'm invested in them if the stats weren't there. I mean, frankly, I wouldn't be invested in them if they didn't deserve the upgrade. So be patient, hold for gold. If anything, this allows us to buy more and really cash in when he goes gold, because I don't really see him slowing down at all. He's just, if you've watched any of his starts this year, you know Gallen is dialed in and pitching brilliantly. Julio Urias gets a little BB9 boost. He is on a gold watch right now. Another few good starts in a row, and all of a sudden he'll be right there, but just sit tight with him. I wouldn't overly invest, maybe put a few more in your portfolio if you do have some. Descalfani goes down 1 point. You can see he's been struggling. Masahiro Tanaka, same sort of deal. He's been meandering his way through the season. He hasn't been terrible, but he certainly hasn't been great either. Robbie Ray goes down. He's been rough. He did have his best start of the year, but it was high time that he got a downgrade. Pablo Lopez into silver. I love to see it, man. I'm a big fan of this guy. He's got some really nasty stuff. I think that hit and K9 both still have room to grow. So he's definitely on a gold track. And probably not too expensive right now that you can really start to stock some away and just keep an eye on him start to start. You see his K9 right there is 9.7. He's allowed just under a hit per inning, so that's not excellent, but I think the way he's pitching lately, we could start to see that hit 9 be more in the 7 range, in which case the 59 could definitely go up. So I still like Pablo Lopez as a hold for gold. Frankly, I'm surprised my boy Strip-A-Dip kept silver because he's been pitching poorly, and the fastball command simply isn't there, and that's his calling card. He doesn't throw super hard, but his ability to put the fastball where he wants and keep hitters off balance with his secondary stuff has been his driving force in previous years, and he doesn't have that right now. He's surviving, barely surviving, I should say, on just kind of a kitchen sink approach and just trying to get outs any way he can. He doesn't look like he's in command out there, both from a like fastball standpoint of like being in command of the pitch and just a general demeanor standpoint. He doesn't look like he is confident in what he's throwing really at any given moment, unfortunately. And I was very big on him coming into this year, so it's been a bummer to see him fall on some hard times these last few starts. Randy Dobnak just continues to dominate. As you can see there, the 4.9 K9, he did get a little boost because they need to get him at least above 50, but it's not going to go much higher. He does not get strikeouts, but he also doesn't walk guys and doesn't give up hits. So those two could both go up a little bit. I really don't see a hold for gold with his K9. It's so bad that I don't know where he could get the boosts to get him into gold. So I think silver is a certain possibility. Save for silver, maybe use him for team affinities or something like that. But I would not hold for gold on Randy Dobnak. I just don't see where it would come from. Eliezer Hernandez. He and Pablo Lopez are forming a really nice 1-2 punch for the Marlins. He's been pitching brilliantly. I think he's a definite save for silver, and there is some hold for gold opportunity here. As you can see, he only has 14 2/3 innings, whereas Lopez has 22 1/3. So Eliezer's just kind of getting his season going, but he's been pitching so well. Keep a very close eye on him. I think he goes silver soon, and then all of a sudden we'll be talking about gold in relatively short order, especially if he keeps pitching like this. Josh Tomlin just gets a position change because he's going back into the rotation. Taijuan Walker gets a little boost. He's been up and down. He had a couple of rough starts at the very beginning of the season. He's starting to pitch a little bit better. I'm keeping an eye on him. Right now, he's only on my watch list. I'm not investing in him for silver or anything, but I've been a longtime fan of Taijuan, so I am keeping a close eye on him. If things change, I'll definitely put him on an upgrade list. I'll let you guys know to invest. But right now, I think you can just kind of watch him from afar without having to invest. Marco Gonzalez is kind of similar to a Randy Dobnak, although he's actually like a super Dobnak. And I know that sounds weird because he's 1 point lower than Dobnak. But what I mean by that is he stifles hits pretty well. But he's not a huge strikeout guy. But he's a much better strikeout guy than Dobnak. So why doesn't he have similar numbers to him yet? Because his hits per 9 isn't quite as devastating as Dobnak's, but Dobnak's is going to start to even out, whereas Gonzalez's I think could actually get better from what we've seen this year, plus the fact that he keeps kind of a 7 to 8 strikeout per 9. I really think Gonzalez has a chance to leapfrog Dobnak, become a silver soon. There's a faint gold opportunity, but I would really look at Gonzalez as a silver and nothing more right now. Matt Wisler, position change. Brad Keller, my goodness, dude. He had COVID. Yo, Jimmy, thank you for the resub, dude. Appreciate you on the 21 months. He had COVID, and so that slowed his season start. But once he's come back, holy smokes, has he been awesome. 3 shutout appearances of 17 2/3 innings, 15 strikeouts. He's another guy who's not a big strikeout guy, but 7.6 is a pretty good rate for him. If he can live in that range, he's definitely going to go silver soon. And there is a path to gold. Now, it's a long shot path because, again, he's not a big strikeout guy, so he puts a lot of his fate in the hands of his defense because of the contact that he allows. But I will not rule it out. For now, you can invest in him as a silver potential. but let's wait on stocking up, 100 Brad Kellers for gold. It's just dangerous when somebody doesn't strike out a lot of guys. A 7.6 rate is fine, but you got to be a strikeout per inning to be considered somebody who strikes out a lot of guys. And the reason that it's dangerous and volatile is because when you allow that much contact, simple bad luck can go against you and create some really bad outings. Now, things are working his way right now. Not only has he been fortunate, but he's also pitching well. Just because you have a 0 ERA and hits aren't falling doesn't mean that you've been overly lucky. He's doing a lot of the things that are driving that luck. So I like what Brad Keller's doing. He's got a nasty sinker. He's been great for the Royals. Gazelman moves into the rotation. Is he going to start for them? Oh, yeah, I guess he did start, but it was more of an open, so I guess whatever. Chad Kuhl. Now, this is my guy right here. This is just a position change. I'm surprised he didn't get anything, although I guess he got 5 points just by changing positions back into SP. I would invest in him. I think he's got major silver potential, and I would even say that comparing him to somebody like Brad Keller, I would put Kuhl's gold potential substantially higher than Keller's. He misses bats. He's got nasty stuff. And, I mean, you can see it right there. 11.6 strikeouts per 9. 10 hits in 14 innings. Only 4 walks. He's got really devastating stuff. He does have a nice mid-90s fastball, but he's not even using that a ton. He's really leaning into his secondary stuff. I love his approach this year. I'm a big fan of Chad Kuhl. He is coming back from TJ, but he had all of 19 off. He's had kind of that extra time, so I'm not as worried about him as I normally am when somebody's returning from TJ. Usually I kind of take the year off, but he's had so much off time with the extra COVID time off that I think that he shouldn't have too many issues coming back. Dylan Cease got a little upgrade here. He's been pitching well. He's an interesting pitcher. He can miss bats when he's really cooking. As you can see, he only has a 6.0 strikeout per 9 right now, but there's definitely upside in that strikeout rate. He has a lot of nasty stuff. I'm keeping an eye on him. Adam Plutko switched back into starting. Zach Davies has been pitching very well. He's kind of in that Brad Keller range where he doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, so he needs his defense to pick up for him, but they have been picking up for him. He's been good multiple times before. Like, it's not a surprise to see Zach Davies put together a nice run. He succeeds by commanding his pitches, keeping the ball on the ground, keeping the ball in the yard, and letting his defense do the work for him. Gaviglio gets a position change. Alex Young, Pannone, Volquez, Oswalt, nothing else really going on here. Christian Javier gets a little boost. I'm surprised he only got 2 points. I feel like he needs to get a little bit more love. He's been pitching remarkably well. He's actually pitching in Colorado today. He's given up 2 runs already. Let's see if he's got any strikeouts to go with it. That's a high scoring affair. Marquez getting murked by the Astros. No shame in that. I mean, it's Colorado and it's the Astros. 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 for Javier with 3 strikeouts. So, I mean, hey, if you're going to get murked, at least get some strikeouts. But I think there's some upside here to get him into the mid-70s, and then you can maybe talk about silver. Because I still think he could get to 73, 74, there is still some affinity upside here to invest in him, but don't go crazy. I think he's a rookie who's going to have his ups and downs, and like I said, right now he's getting murked in Colorado, which is there's no shame in that. Senzatella has been a revelation for the Rockies this year. He's been pitching really well. In fact, most of their starting pitching has been great. Marquez getting murked today is kind of the first for him this year. Kyle Freeland's been good. Senzatella, that's why they have a good record, is because their pitching's been off the charts. I don't really see much beyond this for Senzatella. Maybe something into the low 70s, but there's no need to invest. Same with David Peterson. In fact, he just went on the IL, unfortunately. The Mets, man. New York as a whole, whenever they, like the Yankees, they still have success even as they get snake bitten because injuries are kicking their ass again this year. But it seems like whenever they get something going for both New York teams this year, an injury strikes. Again, the Yankees have been able to still win in spite of that. Meanwhile, the Mets, well, they're the Mets. Sorry, Mets fans. Nothing really to see here as far as any of these guys. If they continue to perform it to some level, I'll put them on the radar, but we don't need to go through all those guys. Chad Green's now up to an 83, excuse me. I think Diamond is definitely in the picture this year for Chad Green. We've seen in past years him compete for a diamond and get into these mid 80s to where he's right on the cusp there. I think this year, with as aggressive as they're being and as well as he's pitching, we could see a Chad Green diamond. He is pitching that well. Edwin Diaz has quietly been on fire since the beginning of the season. You know, he gave up that first homer that blew a save, and everyone's like, oh boy, here we go again. Same old for Edwin Diaz. But he hasn't given up another homer since. He's given up fewer than a hit per inning. And he has 24 strikeouts in 10 2/3. Look at that. 20.3 strikeout per 9. That's not a typo, y'all. That's bananas. He does have a few too many base runners. You can see that in the whip at 1.3. But Edwin Diaz is pitching well. Credit where it's due. And with Seth Lugo going into the rotation, Diaz is probably going to reassume that closer's role, and he's been pitching well enough to get it. Tyler Duffy was an early gold, and now he's getting a little boost for his continued excellence. I don't know that there's 4 more points here for him to get diamond this year, but he has been really nice. I don't know if anybody uses him in BR. He doesn't have a changeup. I know that scares off some folks, but he's been great now dating back to last year. Pagan's been getting murked. He had to get a decline. He could end up becoming a bit of a BR stud now that he's a silver. I never really had confidence taking him as a gold. Tanner Rainey goes into silver. You see that BB9 going way up. You love to see that because that's his big issue right now. And it's still 35 is still kind of rough. But he only has 3 walks in 10 2/3. If he continues to limit the walks, that could go up even higher, and then gold is an absolute possibility. I would say Tanner Rainey is a hold for gold candidate. I would probably rank him a little bit lower on my list if I was going top to bottom for my gold contenders, but he's definitely got that gold upside. Especially if he continues to limit hits too. You see 2 hits in just 10 1/3. That's 82 hit 9 could definitely go up as well. So there are definite avenues for Tanner Rainey to get boosted. Decline for Matthew Barnes. He's been bad. I don't know why I called him Matthew. I'm not his father. Craig Kimbrell finally gets a decline. This is kind of funny though. He gets a decline when he finally starts pitching somewhat well. His last few outings have been pretty decent. Now, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm just saying it's funny that the week that he actually does a little something, now they hit him with the decline down to a 76. But it's well deserved. Hansel Robles just moves from CP to RP. Tony Gonsolin gets a nice healthy boost here. I don't know why he's not an SP though. He started earlier this year. In fact, I am nervous about him taking Ross Stripling's job. You could invest in him as a potential silver because generally when somebody moves RP to SP, they go up, usually because of the stamina. He's already at a 74, so if he went into the rotation, I think he would go right to 76 without any skills improvement. So Tony Gonsolin's definitely somebody to invest in for your affinity exchanges and things like that. If he does take Stripling's role and keeps pitching as a starter, then we can talk about gold. But right now, just look at him as a save for silver. Karinchak, there we go. Finally getting the ball rolling on Karinchak. I do know that Gonsolin got demoted, Marcos. I know. I'm just saying he could take Stripling's role. Karinchak, I had him going up a couple different times when he got like really small upgrades. They finally gave him his big boost. He's going to sit here for a little bit. And then kind of, if he continues to pitch as well as we've seen, he'll be in silver. There is gold upside here. He's so nasty, and he's limiting the hits right now that I definitely think we could see gold this year. I would invest in Karinchak. I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't go like, 100 shares of him, but I'm definitely putting some shares aside and just sitting on those for gold. He was so cheap that if you got in early, just sit on him. Minter goes from CP to RP. Walden goes from SP to RP, I believe. Harper gets a little stamina boost. Jairo Diaz, no longer CP, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about all these? With all due respect. Here's a big boost. Jonathan Hernandez. I had him last week in that Gregory Soto, Jordan Romano group of going way up. He didn't quite get there. This week he finally gets his. He's up 9, and now he's back. Now he's where he kind of needs to be, and if he continues to pitch like this, then they can entertain a potential silver for him soon because he's been great out of the bullpen for Texas. Chase Anderson leaves the SP realm. I could see him as an interesting BR bronze with that 75 stamina. Same with Velasquez at 65, but other than that, no thanks. Wingenter, was he CP? What's his position change? He wasn't an SP, was he? I don't know. Smeltzer was SP. Pruitt, whatever. Jorge Lopez. Wait, is this Jorge Lopez formerly of the Brewers and Royals? I didn't know that the Royals got rid of him. I mean, he's got, like, Eno Saris and I, we've been a sucker for this guy for years. He's got arm talent. I mean, if you're in the majors, you have talent. But you know what I mean. He's got a live arm, and he can fool you. He can have a good outing here and there and make you think, hey, there's something there. He was a former prospect, but push come to shove, he just doesn't have it. Barucki, you went into his card to make the stamina downgrade. Okay. Did the 16.4 strikeouts not do anything for that 48 K9? That's another one I want to ask them about. You know, if I'm questioning them about Zach Gallen and some of the other stuff, that's one thing. Like when you go into somebody's card to give them a decline in something, and I'm fine with cutting his stamina. He's a reliever. But why didn't you look at the rest of the stats and give him a boost based on the rest of the stats? It's not the end of the world. Ryan Barucki is not making or breaking somebody's bankroll or anything. It's not. I'm not trying to like be super angry about it. I'm just kind of wondering the process. Nothing else here that's really important. Apparently, there's a basketball player named Duncan Robinson, and he's trended a bit recently on Twitter, and I thought it was this guy. I was like, what does this guy do? I don't even think he's in the majors. Turns out he's a basketball player. Cool story, Paul. I know. Shut up. I hate you all. This is the dickhead that threw at the Padres after Tatis went yard, so he should be declined to like a negative 9,000. All right, now we're in closing. A little neutral move for Hendricks. That he is on a diamond watch. He's pitching remarkably well, and if you look at it, you know, in comparison to last year, he's maintaining his excellence from last year. I definitely think that he could get diamond in the coming weeks. So if you're invested in him, just hold. Chris Martin moves into CP. So does Pomeranz. Pomeranz also gets a boost, and he's very much hold for gold. He's one of my top hold for gold candidates. He's got the closer's role. Not that that necessarily makes him a bigger candidate for gold or anything like that. I'm just saying he's in a more prominent role, and he's been awesome this year. Buttrey goes to CP, so does Estevez. Foster was in my group last week of guys that are moving up with the Gregory Sotos and Jordan Romanos and Jonathan Hernandez, all that. I had a group of like common relievers that I thought needed to go way up. Foster was a part of them. Now he gets his big boost, and we'll see what he does from here because he's been excellent. If he continues to pitch like we've seen, he'll go silver. Nick Birdie, man, I'm still so mad that he got hurt. I was so excited for his season. Trevor got. Yeah, I'm frankly -4. They treated him nicely because he probably should have gone lower. All right, Wilson Contreras gets hit. He's out of the gold realm. So is Christian Vasquez. Vasquez got that quick gold because he hit the 4 homers. He hasn't done anything since then. Wilson Ramos got declined. He's got a 203 average, so that makes some sense. Zunino, he got declined today, and he's like, you know what? I'll show you, SDS. He went yard. He hit his 4th of the year. He's 1 for 3 though. I mean, he's hitting 118, so it's not like that home run is going to get him re-upgraded. It's just funny whenever somebody gets downgraded and does something big on the day they get downgraded. Austin Barnes goes up a little bit. He's got an opportunity to kind of have the not quite the full-time role. I think Kybert Ruiz is going to get starts, but he has an opportunity to kind of be the guy maybe on like a 60-40 split and show that promise that he had a few years ago is real. So far he hasn't. He only has a 682 OPS, but if he can kind of get going with the power a little bit, the average and the OBP are fine. He needs to start hitting for some extra base hits though. Martin Maldonado gets a neutral upgrade. He's been hitting for pop, but little else. Narvaez gets another decline. He had to, man. He's been rough, dude. When they got him, basically to replace Grandal, I was like, okay, they're sacrificing the framing because he's not a very good catcher, but the bat, they might not be giving up much with the bat because Narvaez was amazing last year. Well, it turns out, interestingly enough, they've kind of taught him how to frame. His framing numbers have gone up, but his offense is unbelievably bad. Holy smokes. Thomas Nido got a tops now, and usually when somebody gets a tops now, they're due for an upgrade on their live series as well. So that's what we see here. Oh, one thing I wanted to check. Hang on, let me go back to starters. There it is. Okay. I wanted to see if Casey Mize got his card. So he and Skubal come in as a 70. I'm kind of surprised they come in at the same level. I would have thought Mize maybe came in a couple points higher just as the better prospect, but that's all right. Mize might already get an upgrade based on what he did in his first start. But either way, I'm glad he's in the game. I just wanted to see that. We'll look at the other positions for new players too. I guess we can look at relievers, but they don't usually have Oh, Luis Patino. There we go. I don't know who these guys are. All right, so staying with catcher, Nito. Okay, they only have one page. Moving on to first base, Yuli Gurriel. He's still hitting. I mean, he's just quietly crushing. A lot of the Astros are having tough years, but not Gurriel. He's been killing it. I wish his brother would get going. I love Lourdes Gurriel Jr., but he's been pretty mediocre this year at best. Luke Voit, finally, yes. And I don't say finally as though SDS like missed an opportunity. You know, they were upgrading him. They were giving him a point here, a point there, but then he went off this past week, and we knew he was. I mean, he was the lock of all locks. If they hadn't upgraded him, that would have sent me through the roof. Gallen, okay, they gave him 3 points. They didn't quite get him to 80, even though I think they could have. I understand that a little bit, even though I don't agree with it. Voit, if they'd have gone 79, they'd have been trolling me. It would have been a straight up troll of me. Carlos Santana has to go down. I mean, he's taken his walks, but that's really it. 187, 396, 333 is a hilariously weird line. Here's your new BR god, by the way. Max Muncy goes down 2 points to 79. Automatic now. He might, I gotta be honest, he might replace Voit as my go-to. I love Voit. I'll still draft Voit as a gold if he comes up. But Voit came up as a silver in almost every one of my BR drafts. I'm not even being hyperbolic. I wish I could have kept stats on it, because I bet that the number is over 70%. He shows up in so many BR drafts. But as a gold, he probably won't show up quite as much, and Muncy will probably take his spot. Not only that, but Muncy plays first, second, and third, so you can maneuver him around whenever you draft him. It allows you to take other players. I love that positional flexibility when you're doing a BR draft. Dominic Smith goes up to silver, and there is some hold for gold potential here. He was really hit well last year, too, in his sample. Now he's got an opportunity at a little bit full-time role, and the way he's been hitting since last year, I think we could see Dom Smith push gold if he continues to hit like this. So good for him getting the 4-point boost. It'll take a while. You know, it's not going to be gold next week, even if he has a big week, but he's certainly on that track now. Eric Hosmer gets a nice boost into silver. I think this is kind of makeup, though, for what he had been doing previously, because he's actually fallen a little bit on hard times, as you can see there from his line. His power did have to go up. I do understand that, but I don't see gold here. A little downgrade there for Edwin Encarnacion. Didn't he hit 2 homers yesterday, though? So maybe he's getting hot, but I understand why they had to downgrade him. Evan White gets downgraded too. Rookie signed that big deal coming into the season, just hasn't really had it. G-Man Choi loses 5 points. That's tough, but I mean, he's hitting 182, 267, 364. I get it. No new first baseman, no new second baseman. Alec Baum at third. Let's go over to second. Whit Merrifield for Diamond. He and Nola were the obvious ones to me. I guess Greinke kind of was too. I didn't have him on my list. That was kind of a miss by me, but I wasn't surprised by it. Once I saw it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I just really wasn't focused on him, so my bad on that one. But Merrifield, he was... Basically, we said a couple weeks ago, if he continues to hit for power, he's going to get to Diamond. So credit to the person in my chat who told me about Merrifield a couple weeks ago. Say, hey, keep an eye on Merrifield. I was like, you're right, man. The power's been there. This was back when he had like 2 or 3 homers, but he was really starting to hit for that pop. He's got 5 now. He deserves it. He's awesome. Brandon Lau was about as much of a lock as Luke Voit was, and there is Diamond upside here. He is absolutely killing it. And what I really like is he's cut his strikeout rate in addition to all this excellent hitting that we're seeing. Did he get the day off? Oh yeah, he got a rest day. He came in as a pinch hitter, took a walk, and still scored a run. What a stud. But he's really changed his profile too. So everything he's doing this year has been good. You see the vision already got 10-point boost. If he continues to strike out at the clip that he's striking out or better, that's going to go even higher, and that will fuel a Diamond boost. He's almost at 80s across the board. Even though he's no longer going to be a silver stud in BR, you better believe I will still take him as an 82. His card plays brilliantly. The defense is great. You can put him in the outfield. You can put him in the outfield or at second base. He's awesome. I love Brandon Lau. Jeff McNeil gets downgraded. He just hasn't been hitting that well. Cano, the ageless wonder. My God, dude, he's crushing it. I mean, he's hitting so well. So he gets a nice boost there into gold. It's well deserved. Colton Wong only hitting 250. Did have to get a decline there. Kevin Biggio. Look at that power boost against righties, y'all. I thought he was already a nice bench guy for BR. This only adds to it. 49.80 against righties, and he's got one of those swings that even at 54-53 against lefties seems to play up above his numbers, even though it's lefty-lefty. I feel pretty comfortable hitting lefty-lefty. I'll take Biggio as a bench bat regularly. Nick Solak, definite. By the way, I want to say about Biggio, he is a save for silver. He's definitely has silver upside. Of course, he's only 1 point away, so that's not terribly surprising. Same with Nick Solak. Now, between the two, Solak has the better opportunity for gold because he's a better batting average guy. And simple fact is, batting average matters a lot on MLB The Show cards. You know, Biggio's right there with him in OBP, especially when you look at it relative to the batting average. And his power's been better, but Solak's power's starting to come through. He hit a home run in Colorado, starting to get some doubles to fall, and if the power continues to go, we'll see Solak out of the silver quickly, and then a potential gold down the line. Garrett Hampson gets a little 4-point boost. He's picking up where he left off at the end of last year. I mean, not quite as good as he was in September, but he's been playing well. John Birdie gets a neutral move, but he does lose some big contact and vision. His stealing goes way up, though. Sogard loses a point. He did get some discipline, but nothing else worthwhile there. Yandy Diaz goes yard, first homer of the season. Keston Hiura takes a big hit down to a 70. I'd still say he's a BR god, though, because 77-77 against righties is still going to crush, and 57-58 against righties, or against lefties, excuse me. Again, he's one of those swings that just plays above his numbers, so I would still continue to use him in BR without hesitation. Anthony Rendon has started to pick things up, so he gets a point back to 87. Manny Machado goes down. He's been kind of meh. He does have 6 homers and 2 steals, so if you have him in fantasy, you're not too upset about what he's been doing. But he is hitting 220, so they had to give him a little downgrade there. Speaking of Yandy Diaz, he did get a 1-point boost, and he just hit his first homer. If he starts hitting, watch out. Oh, speaking of the devil, Brandon Lau now getting another at bat. He didn't just pinch hit; he came in as a sub. I'd love to see him go yard here while we're on stream. But Yandy Diaz could definitely get to silver if the power is about to take off. He still hits the ball on the ground too much, but when he gets a hold of it, it goes far. Dylan Moore only gets plus 11 on the stealing. It does give him a 1-point boost. I'm surprised he didn't get a little bit more love, though. He's been awesome this year, but at least they did upgrade his stealing because he's been tremendous. Rio Ruiz, he's one of the several Orioles who's been playing really well, so he gets a little 2-point boost. I wouldn't go too crazy. I could see him maybe getting the silver, but I'm not really investing in Rio Ruiz. Carpenter goes down a point. By the way, the new Carpenter is awesome. If you used the SIG Series Carpenter last year, Brandon Lau strikes out. What an idiot. I'm just kidding. If you used the SIG Carpenter last year and loved him, the 92 this year is awesome so far. Austin Riley goes up. Or goes neutral, excuse me, because he loses a big contact, but he does gain power against righties. And then Kiner Falefa gets a little 2-point boost. Oh, because of his stealing going way up, 52 points. Yeah, I don't know why it was so low. It was weird that it was even that low to begin with, but whatever. And then Pablo Sandoval goes down. Alec Baum is in the game now. He comes in as a 71. That looks like a nice little bench bat for BR. I would use the shit out of that, especially if his swing works. We'll see how it goes next time he comes up in a draft. I'll pick him. Tatis, of course, had to go up even more. He's a god. I love what they did with that 99 limited edition thing. That he's going to be the Lightning player. I'm pretty confident in that. He's amazing. Story gets a stealing boost. It looks like they were really focused in on stealing this week. They usually kind of do this stuff in groups. Like 1 week they'll really look at base running stuff, and then another week they'll kind of look at defense. They can't do defense every week. It's too volatile. They would be moving guys way up, way down like crazy. Defensive stats are very noisy in small samples. That's why you can't just say, oh, he's been great for the last 2 weeks defensively. You got to move him up. It's not like that. It can go really high and really low week to week, so you have to be careful with all that. Baez gets a little drop down. He is the cover boy, so they're trying to they don't want to go too far with it, but at the same time, they can't just ignore the fact that he's been pretty terrible thus far. Correa loses a point. Remember when he was tracking toward diamond, his power just has really hit a roadblock here. He's a big power week away from going diamond, though. If he has like a 3-homer week leading into an update, he will go diamond. So if you have shares, you can hold them. Otherwise, just keep them on your watch list. And the second that you see that power starts clicking again, reinvest. Trey Turner gets a nice healthy boost here. He did lose that contact against lefties, but everything else gets moved up nicely. And he is on the diamond track as well. He's playing really well. What I would really like to see is a bunch of multi-hit games. If he gets his average up above 300, I think that could be a driving force, particularly if he goes off against lefties. Because as you see, he lost 15 points against them. That's where he could make up the ground. Xander Bogaerts loses a point. Corey Seager gets another one. He's been great. I do think there is some diamond potential. I think it would take 2 quality weeks of work. I don't think one big week would do it unless it was just obscene, like 5 homers or something silly like that. I do think it would take a couple weeks of high quality work to get him there, but he is up at an 82. Bichette goes to 81. I thought they might give him one last boost because he's going to be out until mid-September, so it's pretty much it. But they gave him the Tops Now card, so if you want to use an elite bow, all you have to do is do grind 99 on the Tops Now. You're going to get that shortstop bow. I'm going to get that card today and hopefully rake with him. Tim Anderson got a neutral move because his power went up, but his contact went down. Frankly, I'm fine with that. This is just going to make him an even bigger stud in BR. And he's 5 points away. But I'm going to say it. I think he's on a diamond track. The way he is just killing it. Now, he's going to run out of games against the Tigers at some point, so that's going to slow him down a little bit, but he's absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. He has not slowed down one bit from last year, and I do think that if the power continues at the clip that we've seen, and he hit another home run already today, that's going to drive him up to diamond. I think he's going to get like a 2-point boost next week already, and then if he continues to stay hot, he's right there for diamond. Plus, I'm going to keep a close eye on it. I just mentioned how volatile defensive numbers can be. But if he could have a few good weeks of defense, that would help them. That would help him get to diamond because they could upgrade that a little bit. Right now, he has the defense that he deserves. He's not very good defensively, but if he could just play like some very Ozzie Smith-esque defense for like 3 weeks, we could maybe get him there. Jose Iglesias goes up. Again, I mentioned it. Several O's are killing it. He's one of them. He's hitting 393. He had to go up. He was kind of a sneak tip gold. So hopefully you were invested in him and you were able to cash in on that. Sorry about that. Nick Ahmed had an amazing week that started in Coors and continued beyond that. It wasn't just Coors that influenced. He hit really well. I'm a big Nick Ahmed homer, but I don't want to overrate it and say that he's like on a big gold kick. I will keep him on my watch list. I'm not going to invest in him yet. I'm going to keep him on my watch list. And the reason I think you can just watch list him instead of investing right away is because I don't think he's on the radar of many. So if he stays hot and he starts to boost that OPS up over 800, then we can jump in. I think there'll be plenty of time to do that though and still get him at a good price. Don't go crazy right now. Mondesi got murked because he's been terrible, and he's still a BR god though. I'll still take him every damn time. I don't care. Ahmed Rosario goes down. He's also been really rough this year. Adames gets that neutral move. That one surprised me a little bit. I guess I didn't look at his splits closely enough. I was looking at his composite numbers, so I thought he'd get a boost. Where did I put him at? Did I not give him a boost this week? I think maybe I gave him a boost last week. Oh wait, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong thing. By the way, I did have Jose Iglesias. If you subscribe to my channel on Twitch and you get the full sheet in our Discord, then you'd have been on that Jose Iglesias one. Let me see. I had Adames going up to a 79. Yeah, so I was looking too much at his composite numbers. That's on me. I apologize. I should have dug more into his splits. I just kind of saw that he was doing well, and I was like, oh, he's going to go up. But if he continues to hit as well as we've been seeing lately, then he still could go up. He's a long-term hold for gold, but right now we got to see him improve against righties. Galvis goes to silver. My boy Gurriel Jr., I just mentioned him earlier about how he's been struggling a little bit. I understand that he had to be downgraded. It's a bummer. I'm probably gonna divest in him. And then Luis Urias goes up a couple points. He's off to a great start. Luis Garcia, the prospect, comes in at a 70. Willie Castro at a 65. And I don't know who Anthony Flores is. Wander Javier comes in at a 61. He's a Twin, but I guess he's not on the team yet. So he got his card, but they didn't quite put him on the roster yet. David Peralta goes up 1. He's raking. I don't know. Without a power surge, there's no diamond potential. So keep an eye out. If he starts hitting home runs left and right, you can invest. But until then, you don't have to worry about David Peralta. He's just a beastly gold. In fact, I don't even care that he's an 81. I was using him as an 80 in BR. He's just that good. Tommy Pham actually loses some offense against righties, but gets a huge stealing boost. So he keeps a neutral move there and doesn't go down to silver. Small little boost here for Eloy Jimenez. If he keeps hitting, he'll be gold soon, so you can stay invested in him for gold. Anthony Santander, holy smokes, this guy has been a monster. 9 homers, 25 ribbies, 20 runs. He's killing it. He's definitely hold for gold right now. With the way he's hitting, the profile that he has, I think he can definitely get there in relatively short order too. It could be a week or two. So if you have some Santanders, go ahead, keep them. If you want to get some, I don't know what his price is right now, but obviously if there's enough profit potential there, grab them. Teoscar, he was already an absolute BR god as a 74. Make no mistake about it. But now, watch the hell out because he's even better at a 77. He's going to be one of the next silver studs in the BR landscape. Grossman gets a big jump. He's been killing it. His stealing goes up. His versus righties goes up. Good on him. Dickerson goes down. He's only hitting 207. His whole line sucks. Frankly, he's lucky he only got -1. Jesse Winker gets +1. I thought he might get a little bit more than that because he's been tearing the cover off the ball and he's actually been hitting well against lefties. He did get 10 points in contact against lefties. I think there's more here. I would stay invested in him. I could see gold in the near future. Jock Peterson goes down. He's got 4 homers, but that's it. You can see the rest of the line there. It's been really bad. He's still a BR god, though. I don't care. He could be a bronze. I would still use him in BR. His swing is so clean. Speaking of bronze, Braun goes down to bronze. He's struggling big time. Clint Frazier hits the ground running. 27 plate appearances or at bats. He's been killing it for the Yankees. He's got a lot of playing time too. He gets 4 points into high bronze, and now he looks like a potential silver. I'm not sure I would invest a ton in him, except for maybe affinity exchanges, but he could definitely get to bronze. Justin Upton goes way down. I mean, he's hitting 0.66. I thought he'd bounce back this year with health. I don't know if he's still not healthy or if his bat speed has just declined and he's just toast. But it looks really bad right now. Willie Calhoun goes -2. And that's unfortunate because I really like his bat, but it's been non-existent at this point. Lou Bob gets another point up to a 78. He's definitely on the hold for gold track. The one concern I have about him is his volatility based on his strikeout rate. If he hits that cold streak, it'll stop gold dead in his tracks. So hopefully, if you're invested in him, we could get one more hot week, get him to gold, and then we don't have to worry about if he goes on a cold streak. But his talent is off the charts. He's got tools for days. Pilar gets a neutral move there with a bunch of different ups and downs. Ian Happ +2 to 77. Absolutely hold for gold. I love this guy. He's a monster. He's also a BR god as a switch hitter who can play a bunch of different positions. Brian Goodwin gets +1. He's been playing well. Honestly, he's going to take that job away from Justin Upton. I don't know how much more they can play Adele every single day. He's striking out at like 50%. But Goodwin should get more and more playing time. Between Upton and Adele being terrible, he should be playing. Manuel Margot had a big hot week, so he gets a boost of +1. I don't really see gold here. Victor Reyes goes to silver. He's been a decent hitter for the Tigers, mostly based on his speed. As you can see, he gets +30 in stealing. Trent Grisham goes up 1. He's really doing nothing against lefties. In fact, he's starting to hit a little bit of a cold snap against righties, though, too. So he might not even get to silver at this point. I would not be heavily invested in him at this juncture. And then Cameron Maven goes down 1. Dylan Carlson comes in, and then any left fielders. Zach Zenner, I don't know who that is. Wasn't that a running back for the Lions? All right, wrapping it up here with right fielders. Nelson Cruz, as if he needed to be any freaking better, he's now an 83. I don't see diamond, though, because how much higher can you really push the offense? He got his new diamond in the player program. So, I mean, I guess there is still some contact against righties, and, you know, he can go into the hundreds for contact against lefty and power against righty too. I guess there is a path, but it would take a lot. I mean, he's already hitting his ass off. How much better can he really hit? He's going to hit 400 for the next 3 weeks and be like, fuck you, sport. That's how much better I can hit. Alex Verdugo gets the big boost into an 81. He's been killing it for the Red Sox. Good on him. I think I had him going to... did I have him on my upgrade list? No, I missed him. I'm a dummy. My bad. Did not have Verdugo going to gold, but he did. So good on him. Well done there. Randall Grichuk's been tearing the cover off the ball. 77. I don't really see a hold for gold here because this looks like a standard Grichuk hot streak, which he's had plenty of over his career. And then he goes ice cold for 3 weeks, and then he gets hot again. Like he's so volatile. A lot of guys have ups and downs. That's the nature of baseball. But he goes guardrail to guardrail. So if I was invested in him, I would exchange him into the Affinity right now. I need to see more before I can really believe in gold. However, this gentleman I can believe in gold because his batting average is clicking right now. We already know that the power is off the charts for him. Particularly against righties. But he's hitting a lot of homers. His batting average is up to 293. I could see more of a hold for gold for Reyes. It's going to take a while, though, because he has no defensive value, so it all has to come from hitting. So he basically has to stay hot for another couple weeks. Soler goes down. I was invested in him. I remember I recommended him for gold 2 weeks ago. It didn't come to fruition, and now he gets downgraded. He's been in a cold snap. I'm going to divest. I'm exchanging mine. I'm out right now. If he hits a hot streak, we'll reinvest. But right now, I'm out on Soler. I missed that one. He just hasn't fulfilled his promise there when it looked like he was on a trajectory that was going to get to gold. They didn't upgrade him, and then he hit a cold streak. So there we are. Piscotty, I'm surprised he didn't get silver. I think I actually had him going silver. Yeah, I had him going to 75. I mean, he missed it by 1 point. If he continues to hit the way we've seen, he'll get there. He does have a Tops Now card, so there is that if you want to use a good Piscotty. Brandon Nimmo goes up 1. Nomar Mazara goes down 2. And Eric Thames goes down 2. He's been strong. I thought Eric Thames was going to rake with the Nats. He finally got his first homer the other day, but he has not been very good, unfortunately. So there it is. There's the roster review for the fourth upgrade. Or for the fourth update, rather. Again, I mentioned this in my prediction video. I still owe you guys a video of who the long-term hold for golds are. The week got away from me, and I'm going to be out Friday and Saturday out of town. So I'm going to try to get that up early next week. It's just that with the upgrades every week, it comes fast and furious. So it can be tough to do that. But if you are a subscriber to me on Twitch, make sure you're in the Discord because you get the list to everybody. I had 90 names this week. I hit on a lot of the stuff. I had some misses, but I hit on a lot of the stuff that did get upgraded. So if you can swing it, if you have Twitch Prime, subscribe to the Twitch channel. If not, I'll continue to put out stuff here on YouTube that hopefully helps you invest. I don't want to make it that only people who pay for the subscription can get it. That you will get extra, but you'll always get stuff just by supporting me. So if you're coming into my Twitch channel and just watching, or if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel just watching, you will definitely get names that you can invest in. So thank you so much for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, come out to Twitch, twitch.tv/Spore. Peace.